What's up guys, my name's Diachronic here on this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be talking about the king. Not the Rat King, but the king of PvE engagements, the king of heavy weapons. Now this is not 100% king, but this is pretty much the 80% king of PvE. Now from the thumbnail and the title, you obviously know that this is the Wardcliff Coil. Now in this video I'm going to be talking about how to use this weapon properly, because a lot of people kill themselves or they don't use it at the correct ranges. I'm going to be talking about why damage wise it's better than things like the Acreus, the Hawthorne, the Cluster Bombs of the Sins of the Past and Curtain Call. And then lastly I'm going to be talking about a fun little thing about it where you can literally launch enemies way faster than the tractor cannon ever could, and it's so much fun to use and just watch enemies ping off into the distance. Here's a little preview of that. I'm going to be putting that near the end so you can watch a whole compilation. I've been collecting them for a while now, for like an entire month or two, of just pings of just hitting people with Wardcliff. It is so much fun. So to start off with, this weapon is an exotic rocket launcher that launches a volley of little rockets. That being said, you have a large chance of killing yourself with this weapon because you start firing it and I think a second later it stops firing. So that entire time, if one or two of those rockets hit right in front of your face, you're gonna kill yourself. And I cannot tell you how many times I have killed myself. I think the most deaths I have in PvE right now are from killing myself with the Wardcliff Coil. That being said, it is still so much fun to use regardless if you end up killing yourself. So the correct engagement distance is more of like a 5 to 10 meter engagement. Now this depends on how large your enemy that you're shooting. If there's large groups of enemies, you could be pretty far away. If it's a very large broad enemy like a large ogre or perhaps a large minotaur, you can actually be pretty far away. If it's a smaller enemy like a knight, and I'm saying smaller because, you know, he's probably the smallest of the big enemies, you're gonna have to be within like the 5, closer to the 5 range, especially considering how much the knight likes to run and dodge and put up his shield. You're gonna have to be very careful with the knights. Another big point is that you should not use this on large groups of enemies. Firstly, large group enemies don't show up very often and they don't clump together like you'd like them to. And secondly, you don't get heavy ammo from it. What you want to use it on are those orange health and yellow health enemies. Those Cabal Centurions, the Liberators, the Gladiators, the Minotaurs, the Knights, sometimes Ogres. Things with a lot of health that you'd need a lot of damage. Not only is this weapon do amazing damage against these guys, you'll almost always get a heavy ammo back to it. You'll auto-load it straight into the clip when you pick up that heavy ammo brick. That's one of the perks, auto-loader. And then you're ready to AC 130 the next one. I have an example here where I'm actually on the Leviathan raid on normal. I understand it's only a normal, but the Liberators in the Castellum part actually have a lot of health and they're an orange health enemy, and they are the perfect example of why the Wardcliff is so good. Firstly, the Wardcliff almost always perfectly does enough damage to kill these guys. Now, not always. Sometimes you have to pop off one shot from a magnum or something, but it almost always kills them in one shot. You go in, you pick up the ammo directly from their corpse, you have it back into the magazine, and then you go over to the next guy, and then you Wardcliff Coil him too. It's just AC 130, grab ammo. AC 130, grab ammo. Go back and forth between these, punch a counselor, AC 130, grab ammo. It is so much fun to do. I absolutely love it. I always defend in Castellum nowadays because the Wardcliff Coil is so much fun. However, the Acreus can pretty much accomplish the same task. If you don't know what to use, you don't have the Wardcliff, the Acreus is a great option. You can go in there, pretty much 1 or 2 shot those Liberators, depending on the difficulty you're on, and you can get your ammo back from it pretty much entirely, and it's a great weapon. However, what the Acreus does not have is the ability to be a little bit farther range than the Wardcliff Coil. The Acreus, you pretty much always have to be within melee range of the enemies, and things like the high-ranking handicap Nightfalls, high handicap, you're gonna find enemies that don't flinch. You're gonna be on prestige, you're gonna be on the you're gonna be on the higher handicap, you're gonna have enemies that are basically immortal to flinching and stumble and knocked back and all these things, and they will melee you. And melee almost always kills you in one hit. That being said, I do kill myself a lot with the Wardcliff by being too close to the enemy, which is why I recommend being within the 5 to 10 meter range, because you will try to avoid killing yourself, as well as oftentimes you will not be within melee range of the enemy. You can pretty much guarantee yourself you're not going to be melee killed by an enemy if you're using the Wardcliff, because you would kill yourself otherwise. When it comes to shooting bosses, things like the dogs or Callus, or big bosses like ogres, or just regular bosses at the end of strikes, I actually would recommend using things like linear fusion rifles, Borealis, cluster bomb rockets. These things are often better against these guys. Wardcliff Coil is almost always just for those yellow health or orange health enemies along the way. And lastly, before I get to the booping part of this video, I wanted to talk about little notes about it. Firstly, it doesn't work on dogs. Wardcliff, for some reason, the stacks don't affect dogs. I don't know what it is. It does no damage against dogs in the raid. It just doesn't. On a secondary note, on top of that, you should be using the Wardcliff coil glitch as much as you can. If you don't know, get 1 ammo brick into the Wardcliff coil, switch to any other heavy, does not matter as long as it's not Wardcliff coil, and you will have almost full ammo in that new heavy. Now this glitch has been going around for such a long time. I literally did it yesterday, so I know it still works. It is an amazing glitch, and if you use the Wardcliff coil as much as I do, you almost always have full ammo when you switch to any other weapon. And in the raid, in the Leviathan, oftentimes I like to switch between shotguns of Acreuses, get the Hawthorne, doing cluster bombs for the boss, and then oftentimes between Callus rounds and phases, I pop open got a Wardcliff in my hand, get one of the heavy ammos, I'm full on heavy, and I am ready to go for the next DPS phase. And the last note I want to tell you about the Wardcliff coil is gonna be the booping. You can launch enemies so far with this thing. I'm gonna have a compilation of all the clips I've been collecting over the last month or two of me just launching enemies, pinging them across the room, hitting walls and dying across entire landscapes and falling off edges, or just launching them in general and just seeing them land and just being so stunned. Literally removing a boss from the equation is so much fun with the Wardcliff. That being said, again, try not to kill yourself with it. The most common way I kill myself is I try getting up high, because it's oftentimes better to shoot the enemies from up high, and then as I'm falling down, I find myself going right in front of some cover I didn't anticipate, and I kill myself because the end of the volley kills me. So way to kind of avoid that is if you hit the reload button, you'll actually cut off the rest of the shot of the Wardcliff. This is often sometimes that kind of messes with you and makes it so you don't do the full amount of damage your Wardcliff could do, but it could also save your life. If you find that a shot is really bad or you feel like you're gonna kill yourself, just spam that reload button and it will stop the entire rest of the volley. And that's pretty much it. That's the video for you guys today. I hope you guys did enjoy. I know it was a bit of a long-winded one, but I wanted to make this video before the new exotics came out because I have a feeling things like Darcy doing 4 times damage and Borealis doing 2 times damage, and the tractor cannon allowing you to do more Nova damage. I mean, there's going to be a lot of exotics, and Hard Light being great for match game. There's going to be a lot of exotics taking up my exotic slot, so I'm going to need to tell you guys about the Wardcliff before it kind of goes out the door. That being said, I still think Wardcliff will be a pretty prominent and powerful weapon. But come on, man, 4 times damage on the Darcy? Come on! Anyways, that's the video for you guys today. I hope you guys did enjoy. And of course, if you guys have moments of Wardcliffs where you kill somebody and it's cool or it's awesome, clip that. Clip it on PSN and send it to my Twitter. I'll retweet that. I'll like it. I love seeing those, and I love sending them out to everybody. They're so much fun to watch. And the last note I want to make is I'm actually going to be streaming the Warmind update right when it comes out, the DLC, right on the 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. whenever it happens on Tuesday. I'm going to have my team with Fantastical Gamer and Sarasu, so come join us over on Twitch, link in the description down below. We're going to be having a good time playing some of the new Warmind DLC through the campaign. We're going to try to get through as fast as possible so we can get and start doing some videos on the cool endgame stuff. Anyways, that's the video for you guys today. Hope you guys did enjoy. My name has been Chronic, and I'll see you guys on the next one.